Welcome back. We are going to go over quadrilateral types. So this first part, quadrilaterals. Does anybody know what that prefix means? Actually, it's a root word. Does anybody know what that means? Yeah, it means four. Does anybody know what this word means? Lateral. Lateral. Actually means sides. I can prove it to you. If you've ever worked out, they say, "Oh, and you got to work out your lats." These are your lats right here underneath your armpit on the side. When really big buff guys get huge lats, they walk around like this, like they have big lats. Okay, so a lateral is just your side. Okay, so quadrilateral literally means four sides. So all of these are four sided. Okay, there's different four-sided shapes called quadrilaterals. The first one we already know is a quadrilateral. And then it has this arrow going down and it says parallelogram. If you remember from like fourth-ish grade, a parallelogram just means a four-sided figure that has two pairs of parallel sides. Okay. So in this diagram, because the arrow goes down like this, everything that a quadrilateral is, a parallelogram is. Is everybody okay with that? But everything that a parallelogram is not for a quadrilateral, not necessarily. Does that make sense? So think about so we live near Los Angeles, right? So um, everyone who lives in Los Angeles doesn't necessarily live in California. That's what they're trying to say here. But everybody who lives in Los Angeles is in California. But not everybody in California lives in Los Angeles. Moving on. Okay, a rhombus. If you remember what a rhombus is a four-sided shape that all four sides are congruent. When you were in like kindergarten, what did you guys call this? Go ahead.
A diamond.
Good. It's not. They lied to you. I know. So a diamond is a 3D object. Most women have diamonds in their like wedding rings and stuff like that. But that's not what we're talking about. So a diamond is not a 2D figure. A rhombus. A rhombus is a just simply a shape that has four sides that are congruent. Notice the arrow here. Is a rhombus a parallelogram? Everyone says? Yes. Every rhombus is a parallelogram. Is every parallelogram a rhombus? Say no. No, it's not. How do you know, Miss Johnson? Because some parallelograms are rectangles. Some some of them are rhombuses. But every rhombus is a parallelogram. Everybody okay with that? Next, a rectangle just means four congruent angles. Four congruent angles. No. Can a hexagon be a parallelogram? Someone asked in the chat. No, because a hexagon is a sixagon. It has six sides. So because a parallelogram is a quadrilateral, which means four sides, can't do it. All right. So a rectangle is a parallelogram. So notice here, is a rectangle a parallelogram? Yes. Is a rectangle a quadrilateral? Yes. Is a rectangle? Yes, very good. A rectangle has four sides, so therefore it is a quadrilateral. Is every quadrilateral a rectangle? Is every quadrilateral a rectangle? Very good. No. So this square guy here, tell me about the square. Give me some statements about the square that you can make based on the what we've talked about in this diagram. A rectangle can be a square. Does a rectangle have to be a square? Does a rectangle have to be a square? Everyone says no. But a square cannot be a rectangle. No, that is not true. A square is a rectangle. In fact, every square is a rectangle. Every square is a rectangle. I know that's shocking, right? Because some of you say, but Miss Johnson, a square is a square and a rectangle is a rectangle. The definition of a rectangle is four congruent angles, technically four right angles. Does a square have four right angles? Everyone says yes. So therefore, a square is a rectangle. Let's do this again. Is a square a rectangle? Good. Is every rectangle a square? No, because that is not a square. None. Okay, let's do this for rhombus. Give me some statements about rhombus and square. Give me some statements about rhombus and square. All of you can do this. Write false ones. Who cares? I'm not attaching your name to it. Where'd you guys go? Come on. All right, we got some. They are both parallelograms. Is that true? Are both a rhombus and a square a parallelogram? Yes, that is true. Look, this, right, goes down this way. Yep. And goes down this way. Yep. Someone said a square can be a rhombus. Let me ask a different question. Is every square a rhombus? Is every square a rhombus? Is every square a rhombus?
No.
Every square is a rhombus. Every square has 4 congruent sides. That is a yes. So go this way. Everything that's down here is a thing that's up here. But not everything that's up here is a down here. Yeah. So is every square a rhombus? Yes. I know you did take a shot. Good job. Someone said, is every rhombus a square? Is every rhombus a square? Is every rhombus a square? Very good. No. Okay. So the way you want to do this is this. These are the ancestors, and they've handed down traits, which is really weird for the square because then you got this and this coming from this. Okay, anyway. Every ancestor hands down all the traits or properties to the people below them, right? So a quadrilateral hands the fact that he has 4 sides to a parallelogram, to a rectangle, to a rhombus, and to a square. Everybody good on that? But I can't give any of my qualities to my ancestors. Does that make sense? So the fact that I learned really cool technology because I'm a teacher, I don't know, whatever, that does not pass on to my mom, right? I'm still trying to teach her how to text. Like it's legit. I know. Okay, let's see. Is a parallelogram a square? Is a parallelogram a square? Yeah, not necessarily. Not every parallelogram is a square. Some parallelograms are squares. Does that make sense? What else can I ask you? Does a square have 2 opposite parallel sides? Does a square have 2 opposite parallel sides? So I'm asking, is a square a parallelogram? Is a square a parallelogram? Yes, very good. The answer is yes. So whenever you're thinking about like a rectangle, you got to think about his ancestors and think, well, do they have any of this? So if I said, hey, rectangle, do you have 2 pairs of opposite parallel sides? And you're like, yes, because the parallelogram does. And he passed it on to him. Hey, rectangle, do you have 4 sides like your quadrilateral ancestor? And the rectangle was like, well, yeah, because he's my ancestor. Does that make sense? It gets a little funny right here, so don't use this analogy like verbatim. So thank you for listening. That is my little deal on quadrilateral.